a couple of minutes as well. Stan Van Gundy was introduced yesterday as the New Orleans Pelicans' seventh head coach in franchise history. Coach Van Gundy comes over to a very youthful roster. If you look at the New Orleans Pelicans and all the media going inside the bubble, there is a lot of excitement around this Pelicans team. David Griffin and the executive staff interviewed 9 people. Stan Van Gundy was announced yesterday as the head coach, and he's kind enough to join us here on Off the Bench, ESPN, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and Alexandria to start off this Wednesday morning. Coach, good morning. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, glad to be with you guys. What's the weather look like right now? I'm on the National Hurricane Center website as I speak to you.
Yes.
It looks like this afternoon it's going to get even worse, but what's it like now?
Welcome to South Louisiana, Coach.
It's been a hell of a
It is
year, man.
a late October hurricane. We have not seen this routinely, but 2020 has been a hell of a weather year, and it looks like the rain is going to come and start about 1 o'clock this afternoon.
It's very appropriate, though. Introductory press conference yesterday, Coach, and then you get a Cat 2 hurricane on your first day on the job. So congrats. Welcome to New Orleans.
I was supposed to come in this week. The plan was for me to come in this week and do that press conference in person and spend some time in the office, meeting staff and my wife looking at houses. And Hurricane Zeta said, nope, not this week.
Yes. Well, hopefully when things dry up, we look forward to getting you to South Louisiana. And yesterday you expressed on what attracted you to New Orleans, and obviously the roster and the talent, the depth there, the power structure of Miss Benson, David Griffin, Trajan Langdon and the crew, Swin Cash. But you also mentioned the city. What do you know about New Orleans, and what are you looking forward to in getting to the Crescent City?
Well, look, you guys have seen me and seen pictures of me, and I'm not the skinniest guy in the world. So you know that what I'm looking forward to more than anything, I'm looking forward to a lot, the restaurant. Yeah, there's no question. And when I got the job, I was getting a lot of texts from people, and, so many people were saying, oh, the restaurant's down there. In fact, Greg Popovich texted me and said, I'm jealous of all the restaurant choices you're going to have in New Orleans.
Nice. So this when this job opened up, it seemed like there was a ton of interest because of when you look at the roster and what could be potentially is very exciting. You were sitting in a great gig. You've got a great basketball resume. A TNT basketball analyst is a pretty good life for somebody as much years as you've given the game. What was it about this job that made you want to get back into it?
So you meant to say you were trying a nice way to say for an old guy like you. I know you were.
25 years, Coach. 25 years.
A salty veteran. A salty veteran is how we would say it.
There you go.
That's right.
But no, for me, I was in a situation where I wanted to coach again. I didn't need to coach. And so I was, I think, in a very lucky position that I could be picky and would only be interested in jobs that I thought were great. I think, as I said yesterday, the fact that you have an executive group, a governor's group running the thing that has had the success that they've had with the Saints and obviously know what it takes to win at the professional level was attractive. David Griffin's record of putting together rosters in the NBA speaks for itself. And then when I got a chance to meet with he and Trajan and then Swin and the entire staff, he's obviously putting together a front office team that will do a good job. And then you guys mentioned it. I mean, the roster, which is very attractive. You've got a lot of young, exciting players, but also some productive, high-character veterans. So I think there's a really good mix there. So it would have had to have been a great job for my wife and I to be interested, and everything we could have wanted we found in New Orleans.
And Coach, actually, so you mentioned your wife during the press conference quite a bit yesterday as well. And I don't want to be too personal here, but from a professional aspect, it just seems like she plays a very large role. Like what does that relationship mean in terms of what it means to your job?
Well, a couple of things. First of all, I think we're totally partners in everything we do. There's nobody that knows me better than she does. And so she was a big help in this whole process. But she's helped me in a lot of ways in coaching. She doesn't, I'll be quite honest, she doesn't care about the basketball part of it at all. If I weren't coaching, I don't think she'd watch basketball games. That's just not her thing. But what she knows and cares about and pays attention to is people. And so, you know, she's always been great in the family room, getting to know families, and a lot of things that I wouldn't know, I think, help me with player relationships, like simple things. She'll come home and say, you know, hey, so-and-so's son is sick.
Huh.
And so then you have an idea that, okay, maybe that's why the guy's a little bit distracted. And also, it's something that I now can talk to somebody about, hey, what's going on with your son? And it just takes my player relationships to a different level that I wouldn't be able to get to without her.
Talking to new Pelican head coach Stan Van Gundy here on Off the Bench. We are huge fans. We love Le Batard. I always have listened to you on Lebs over the last couple of years, and I love listening to you yesterday at the press conference. And one of my favorite answers was you were talking about culture, right, and how you and David Griffin see very eye to eye on this. You talked about culture being a body of shared values and things, you know, a thing that is built over time, action by action. What are some of the shared values that you view as creating the culture that you're looking for?
Well, I think team first is at start of it all, and I think that throughout the process, as I got to know Griff and his team, you know, that's what it's all about. It's not about one person on top. It's not about Griff. It's not about me. It's not even about Zion or Brandon Ingram or Jrue Holiday. It's truly about the group. I think that's first and foremost, because that sets the tone for everything. And if you feel a great responsibility to the people around you and to trying to help them, that sort of guides all the other actions that you will take. I think it's cliche to say hard work. I think it would probably be better to say focused work, where we're trying to get better every day. I mean, really having a growth mindset that whether last night was a good game or a bad game should not change our approach on the next day's practice. The next day's practice is about trying to get better, not relaxing if we had a great game, and not coming in there and overreacting if we had a poor game. So I think those are just two of the things, but I really did mean what I said. There's been so much talk about culture in sports, and I think if you do your culture right, you never really have to talk about it, and your players will, over time, know exactly what your culture is.
Off the bench, Stan Van Gundy joining us here, ESPN, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and Alexandria. You're a basketball lifer. You've coached against Michael Jordan. You have coached Dwight Howard in his prime, and you've coached against all the superstars in between. Do you have a comp on Zion? And as his head coach, what is his ceiling?
I have no comp on Zion, and I mean that in the best way possible. We probably, in a lot of areas, overuse the word unique, but not in this case. So this guy's truly unique. He's got point guard type playmaking skills. He's got as quick a first step as I've ever seen. He's got as quick a second jump as anybody I've seen. He's extremely unselfish. One of the things that I noticed watching film on them that I really liked is he doesn't hold the ball. Like, you know, a lot of stars get the ball, isolate. Everything else comes to a stop, and you're watching that guy operate. With Zion, everything's quick. He makes his move quick. If he doesn't have anything, he gives up the ball quick. He's a guy that, as good as he is and as productive as he is also easy to play with. And so I'm really looking forward to the challenge of figuring out the best way to help him to unlock all of the abilities that he has. I mean, as far as a ceiling, I would never place a ceiling on Zion Williamson, and I would say the same thing for Brandon Ingram. I mean, these are two great young players that I don't think you can place a ceiling on. It's just about trying to get better every single day, and it will be exciting to watch the process and see where these guys end up.
Well, and when you're talking about those two players specifically, Stan, you said something yesterday that I absolutely loved, which is like the NBA is not small ball. It's just now highlighting skilled big men, right? And when you look at the length of Ingram, you look at Zion and just his strength and speed and just a combination you just talked about. Like, are these two particularly well suited in your mind to succeeding in this today's NBA?
Oh, I think that's what it's all about. I think when people say small ball, what they're really talking about is perimeter basketball. Not a lot of post play, games spread out and played fast and the whole thing. And that's where it's going. But if you can do it with bigger people, I mean, we just saw it with the Lakers, LeBron James and Anthony Davis, their two most skilled players, both with great size. I was lucky enough to coach guys like Hito Turkoglu and Rashard Lewis here with Dwight Howard in Orlando. I mean, that's where the game is. And there haven't been a lot of guys like Brandon Ingram, you know. There's starting to be a few more, but they're still rare when you can get those 6'10" guys who can play like guards. And when you get a guy like Zion with his strength and power who can make plays and handle the ball like guards, that's the future of the NBA. And we're lucky in New Orleans to have two of those guys to build around. And then, like I said, to also, while those guys are growing, you have, you know, guys like Jrue Holiday and J.J. Redick that can play huge roles and add an experience and maturity to help those guys develop.
Stan, yesterday, and so you're talking about kind of like coaching in the future, right? And last night in the World Series, you saw a coaching decision based on analytics that people are kind of lambasting it. And it got me thinking because you were talking about Michael Hartman, the head of analytics with the Pelicans now, and how you're kind of planning on badgering him. And I'm like, what do you view as the relationship between analytics and coaching? Is it like you have a hypothesis and you're looking to see if math supports it? Like, how do you implement all of these numbers that seem to just be growing and growing?
No, that was perfect. I think what you're really looking for, where you can be the most confident, is when your eyeball test matches up with the numbers. Then I think you go ahead with pretty strong confidence. If they're in conflict with each other, if I have a thought and the numbers don't add up, what it causes me to do is do a little bit more study. Go back to the film, watch it some more. And the same way, you know, I think for the analytics people, what, you know, hopefully is what are we missing here? Are we sure we've got this right? Now, when you're talking in-game decisions, you know, it's a mix of what you've studied with the analytics and your own experience. You know, I've been coaching since 1981, so you do have some gut feels based on the analytics that you've studied, based on the film work you've done, but also just based on having been in game situations. And so I really love the way Kevin Cash, by the way, responded last night. You know, he didn't try to make a lot of excuses. He said, yeah, he'd love to have back the result, but it was made on solid information. You know, and I think you just have to accept in coaching that you have to live with the results and you're going to be judged on them. And that's the way it is. I've always said, if it doesn't work out right, you can't go on there and say it was the right decision. And Kevin Cash didn't try to do that. You know, if it was wrong, if it didn't work, it was the wrong decision. That doesn't necessarily mean you wouldn't do the same thing again. But I laugh when coaches try to, it was the right decision. No, it's only the right. We're in a results-oriented business. Yeah. It's only the right decision if it works.
That's exactly right, Stan Van Gundy. And we know that you're a huge baseball guy because we are enormous Levitard fans. And let me make this a shooter's shot here, Coach. This can be your safe place locally if you want to just come on here and we can establish the relationship like you have with Lebs and the crew. I can feel that you're uneasy with Mike Ryan, the producer, but you and Stu Gott's got great rapport.
Yeah, I enjoy my time with those guys. For a while there, when I was with ESPN, I was going on weekly with them, and I like Dan and his crew because you know, they have a lot of fun. But Dan in particular, I think is one of the smartest guys in the business, and when he gets down to real commentary, it's something that I never miss. But I would love to talk to you guys on a regular basis and talk Pelicans basketball and also have some fun. I think that the one thing that they do on their show is they understand that as serious as we take it as coaches and players do, we're in the entertainment business, and it is about having some fun.
A new regular here on Off the Bench and new head coach for the New Orleans Pelicans, our guy. Welcome to South Louisiana, Coach. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, and good luck to everybody with Hurricane Zeta today. We'll be watching and thinking of everybody in New Orleans.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thanks,
Thank you for the
Can't
thoughts.
put that toothpaste back in the tube. Let's
That's right.
go.
Thank you, man.
All righty.
There is Coach Van Gundy checking in this morning from Orlando before he makes his way over to New Orleans. And there it is confirmed. We'll need all of that cut up. Tweet it out. We'll need all of that here chronicled. All right, from one head coach to another. From Coach Van Gundy to Coach Napier over in Lafayette. He'll stop by next from Ragin' Cajun land over in Acadiana. We'll talk to Billy Napier next.
Off the Bench with Kalana and T-Bob.